This is no accident. This is the op-ed column Keep Right by Ralph K. Ginorio, dateline December 3rd, 2021. As we endure a Christmas season plagued with higher inflation than at any time since the Carter administration, and rifer with shortages greater than at any time since World War II, we must remember that this is no accident. Biden's policies restricting the fuel and labor supply while expanding the money supply have intentionally produced both inflation and scarcity. Environmentalists see a deteriorating U.S. dollar and increasingly scarce resources as a necessary step towards alleviating man-made climate change. The biggest problem facing climate activists is us, our everyday American expectations for a high standard of living. Radical Greens see our freedom of movement, as represented by the personal automobile, as a profligate squandering of natural resources. They see our energy use, heating and cooling our homes and businesses year-round to roughly 70 degrees Fahrenheit, as nothing less than a wasteful self-indulgence. They see our consumption of food as gluttonous, and our mechanically eased relief from physical labor as slothful. These primly sanctimonious elites see the average American citizen as an irredeemably vulgar parasite whose insatiable appetites threaten nothing less than the ongoing existence of life on Earth. They decry our insistence on maintaining our individual rights to the widest possible degree, including the right to earn a comfortable living, bear arms, and refuse medical treatments, as being socially destructive selfishness. Make no mistake, to these Brahmin princes who fly in private jets to global climate summits, are transported by limousine to green fundraisers, and reside in mansions which consume more energy than a typical small town, we Americans are their biggest problem. They have every intention of solving this problem by any means necessary. They assert that our 18th century Enlightenment notions of inalienable natural rights are dangerously outmoded in a proverbial will-o'-the-wisp, enticing us away from their straight and narrow path to sustainability. To them, we Americans think far too much about our own wants and far too little about the needs of others. If the biosphere is to be restored, we Americans must be stripped of our privileges, impoverished through inflation, and starved of anything beyond those resources which will meet our basic needs. Principles of global equity march hand in hand with their concept that the environment's health requires us each to reduce our consumption of resources. Our freedom and living standard must be sacrificed to serve what these true believers deem to be economic justice and global survival. We who are non-elite Americans are seen as latter-day serfs. Serfs need not aspire to either political influence or lives of luxury. Like many Europeans who are outside of today's bureaucratic, technocratic, plutocratic, and hereditary aristocracies, we Americans can be cared for and managed like any other livestock. Our needs can be provided for by their socialist welfare states, even as our choices can be restricted. For our own good, our betters can compel us to lead healthier, happier, and more sustainable lives. Like a watermelon, the environmental movement is green on the outside and red on the inside. To them, the environmental crisis can be solved in the same way as can socioeconomic inequity, through precisely the same totalitarian restrictions on personal autonomy as those employed everywhere by communists. As your spending power decreases and your supermarket shelves empty, remember that your circumstances are being intentionally reduced for someone else's vision of the greater good.